Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gen Con TV. This is Friday. You know what that means? That means it is Table Takes time. Here we go. I want to introduce you to some of the coolest folks who are going to be giving you all the latest, greatest tabletop news, as well as maybe a fun, not even maybe, a fun interview after this. Let's say hi to the folks. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Oh my gosh, I'm rating on excitement. It seems like Javion was the loudest. That counts as excitement as far as most crowds go. So Javion, how was your week? Tell us about your week first. You were loud enough. You go first. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, hold on one second. Let's see. Well, I mean, we're getting sound. That's the problem.
We're getting sound?
Yeah, I have sound
Okay.
through the filters, but it's also popping up here. Yeah. Can
I'm
they
gonna keep
keep on
going.
talking? Let's see
Keep
what.
going. Keep on going.
Here we go.
Javion, how about you tell us what's up?
Actually, the board game about nerds correcting each other. I just got that one in, and I want to play it on stream at some point. Keep an eye out for that game night. We also have Spire's End. I already have, but I also have Spire's End. Hildegard just showed up. The expansion, the second Kickstarter that came out, plus the playmat for playing it all out with the cards on the table and everything. And then I also bought Four Humors from Mock's Boarding House, which is no, it's not even deduction. It's an intrigue game where you're trying to predict where everybody's going to go with their four different types of humors. And you're trying to trump people and take over different lands. It's very fun. I also got more. I finally got more booster packs for Soulforge Fusion, and now I can make more decks. It was a very exciting email that I got in. And I also got finally Terra Nova, which is Terra Mystica, but like streamlined. So it's like instead of being 2 hours long, it's only one.
That is awesome. You got it seems like a horde of Kickstarters this week.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy.
So we actually were talking about this before the show. How many Kickstarters do you think you are at after the ones that maybe you're backing today during crowdfunding?
I am almost at 70. If we're counting the ones that have been unsuccessful or canceled, 70 board game related.
Almost at 70 sounds like a very nice number. And speaking of nice numbers, Peter, you're my number one today. What's up?
Hey. Well, I had a great weekend. I went traveling. I went to a wedding in LA, and then I went to briefly to Big Bad Con, and then all this while it was what I call Heaven Week, which is the week that I edit Actoroki movies. Because they used to call it Hell Week, but that just seemed negative. I mean, it's a privilege to edit these wonderful Actoroki movies. So that's what I've been doing. We streamed that movie on Wednesday here on Gen Con TV on Actoroki, and now I'm kind of like in what I call the slow week before everything picks up again, which is where I get caught up in all my emails and everything else.
Nice. So this week's Actoroki was actually pretty wonderful. I was a part of it, so I'm a little biased, but that was a really fun episode.
It was fun.
Good work on that.
It might have been the funnest episode I've had. I don't even know why. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, aside from the fact that you were there, of course, and I mean, that must have been it. That's probably why it was like the funnest episode.
For time, let's go with that. That sounds great.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And speaking of for time, Bonsai, who accused me of being a time wizard before the call. Bonsai, what have you been up to this wonderful week?
I've been doing a lot. I also got a bunch of Kickstarters. I should have grabbed it before coming in. I got a bunch of different Kickstarters coming in the mail. It's just Kickstarter weekend, I guess. Everyone's getting their various. I just got a bunch of expansions for a bunch of different games. Also, very sad. Apparently, I got trick-or-treaters this weekend, but I had to run out of my house for a quick emergency, and I missed the big group of trick-or-treaters. So I'm sad. But I still was able to run out like after 8. Of course, like I'm like, no one's going to come after 8. Run out and give candy to random kids on the street. Luckily enough, one of them in a group said, "Oh, it's fine. We'll go ahead and go to a random lady that's holding a candy bowl asking us if we want candy in the street." So that's great. I'm glad that there's at least one child who kind of is suspiciously trustful of people, because I would have had too much candy in my hand. I realized that, like, but it's okay, because then I also went to a lot of the local businesses that were still open and was like, "Hey, workers, you want candy?" And they were able to take the rest off my hand. So that's great.
That sounds like a Bonsai. I always love your Halloween stories, from running out at 8 p.m. with a bag of candy to kids in the streets, to catapulting with I believe, a homemade catapult candy at children passersby during the pandemic. I feel like I need to be in your neighborhood for Halloween next year.
Bonsai, is Halloween your favorite holiday?
Yes, Halloween is my favorite holiday. I don't know if you could tell by all the orange stuff behind me. Maybe my favorite.
Next Halloween, Gen Con TV party at Bonsai's.
Yay!
Yes!
Yay!
We're gonna do it.
I could hold a good amount of people here. Javion's seen my house, so he knows.
Bonsai, thank you so much for sharing. As for me, I have been just living life, loving life, and looking forward to a Friday on Gen Con TV. I love video games. I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I haven't had as many people to play board games with in person, but I've been playing so much video games. And I know that there's someone else in this show who likes similar video games to me. And a game that's coming out, they recommended. Javion, do you have a first headline of the day?
Yeah. Our first headline of the day is a very familiar franchise that's being implemented as a board game. In fact, it's already been fully funded on Kickstarter. It's the Slay the Spire board game. Yep, the Kickstarter actually funded in just about 6 minutes. Excuse me, sorry. And it's looking like it's going to be very much a one-to-one adaptation of the video game into a board game. So in this, it's going to be cooperative and multiplayer rather than single player, as the video game is. And for those of you who may not be familiar with it, Slay the Spire was one of the first and definitely the most popular deck-building roguelike video games. It's all about a character that you play as, an avatar who starts at the bottom of a giant living spire, and you make your way up and up and up through the spire, through its different floors and levels, fighting bosses, finding monsters, going through random encounters, and hopefully picking up enough potions to get you through to the next part of the spire. And while they have been in development with this game for a very long time, updating it year after year with more and more content, it looks like they finally settled on enough stuff to put into a board game adaptation. So let me take you inside what some of the things you're going to find are. Slay the Spire is a deck building roguelike. That just means that as you beat monsters, you get to choose from a assortment of cards which one you want to add into your deck. Now, while the solo game has you doing this only one way up the spire, you'll be playing with other people in the board game version, where really you're going to be doing the same thing as each other simultaneously. It's kind of like playing solitaire, but sitting next to somebody, and you can help them out as they're playing through by giving them items or, helping fight their monsters for them. But if anybody isn't able to finish their battle successfully by living, everybody loses. So it's kind of a very much like an octopus kind of thing, where there's multiple tentacles and everybody's got their own thing that they're dealing with, but you can sometimes get involved with other people and as they're playing. And of course, you're trying to use these avatars. Like I said, you've got Ironclad, the Silent, the Defect, and the Watcher. All four of the main characters, all four of the playable characters from the video game can be played in the board game. And it's looking like they're adding in everything that that video game has, including the titles for the cards, potions, and even items that you might find that you get from playing cards, the relics that you're picking up from beating bosses or elite matches or combats. All of those things are going to be added in. So one of my favorite things about the game, about Slay the Spire in general, are the memes. There are so many different things from this very popular game that have inspired people in the community to enjoy the game, not just in a I'm going to play solo kind of way, but like on Twitch streaming or whatever, you might see people saying certain things, like, for instance, bear, that is just what sound you'll hear when you fight a very specific fight with 3 bandits, 2 of which are much more talkative than Bear is. And if you kill Bear first, in the game, the characters will shout out and cry for him as he is gone and try to fight and avenge him. It's very sad. We all love Bear. Another one is Caw! Caw is just the sound your new relic makes.
Okay, I need to cut to our faces while we're all laughing at the words, the sounds that you're making. Please continue. I just want everyone's face,
Sure.
Wonderful faces to be visible during this.
Sure. Caw is the sound you get to hear whenever you get the cultist relic, which is actually very hard to get and very rare. I'll let you try to discover how to find it yourself. The cultists are literally just bird heads, and they're part of a cult of birds. And there's a big giant boss you can fight too. We love the cultists. But my favorite meme, besides Prismatic Shard, is dig, relic, dig. The best relic, everyone knows the best relic is the shovel, because it gives you more relics. All you have to do is give up a chance to heal at a campfire. Who needs healing? So anyway, I hope all of those memes are found in the board game adaptation. It looks like the Kickstarter was fully funded. Congratulations to them. It raised $2 million and all the stretch goals. We are very much excited to see the final product.
And if any of the people, like if the rest of the fan base is half as passionate as you are just telling this game, it's not a surprise that Kickstarter got funded already. That's impressive. I also am a fan of video games and board games, kind of mashed up and seeing what we could do with both. Take the best parts of each and make them happen. That's kind of fun. Yeah, thank you so much, Javion, for your passion about this. I'm excited. Check out Slay the Spire board game on Kickstarter. The link is in the description or in the chat. Next up, Peter, you got a little immaturity coming your way. Can you
I have
handle
a rather juvenile article to report on. This comes from Will Niebling, ICV2. By the way, I want to do a shout out to Will, former TSR executive from way back in the 80s. He's one of the few people in gaming who's older than I am. Yeah, so good on you, Will. This is Gaming Honors has announced its second role-playing parody book, Diapers and Daycares, scheduled to release in May. Yes, Diapers and Daycares parodies both role-playing games and parenthood by presenting a fully playable D20-based game centered around the challenges of raising infants. I mean, Bonsai, you should probably sign up for this game and get some practice in. It's complete with character classes like the cyborg who uses technology as parenting tools, or the time traveler who raises children as a way to recapture their own childhood. Typical parenting challenges appear, such as sick babysitters and predatory insurance reps. This book was written by Martin Buanicki, professor of American literature, children's writer, and author of Dwellings and Driveways, and its supplement, Keep on the Cul-de-sac. Presumably, that's not to be confused with Keep on the Borderlines. Diapers and Daycare will include at least 36 black and white pages with a full color cover by Matt Morrow, inspired by the classic Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. And I gotta say, seriously, even if you have no interest in this idea, you got to click on the link to see this piece of art. It's oh my god, it's funny. Anyway, so Gaming Honors is raising funds to produce the game right now on Kickstarter.
That is you're so right about the art on that one. Obviously, it is pulling from the older Dungeons and Dragons style, but my gosh, is it funny to see those basic mundane little things like raising a child, just drawn like that.
In my experience, most times when I'm running new RPGs for my groups, people want to play as the children, and I get it. Nobody wants to be like the parent who has to babysit or wrangle all of the children. You want to be the kid who gets to do whatever you want, no consequences, relive the glory days. This is such a fun concept. I hope to see more weird stuff like that. But speaking of maybe not weird, but big stuff, big bird, beautiful big bird. Bonsai, thoughts?
All the birds. all the birds, the big bird. Well, I have both great news, but also sad news. To this, of course, source coming from Jeffrey Dom Sanchez from ICV2. Stonemaier Games Wingspan. We've talked about it before. They're having a new expansion for
It seems
Wingspan
like we talk
Asia.
about it every week.
We talk about it almost every week. We almost do. Because I might be a little biased because I bring up a lot of these Wingspan stuff. So basically, they were announcing that they're going to do a nesting box pre-order. It's a big, essentially expansion box that holds the Wingspan Asia. That's supposed to add 2 new players to the game and has like dividers, a beautiful bird feeder tower, all the past, present, like it's basically a big enough box to hold all of the Wingspan expansions, right? It was available for pre-order on retail for $9.99, so about $100. It was stenciled on the website for about $110 because of taxes and everything. But guess what? I know they just announced it on Wednesday, but it sold out the very next day on Thursday. So if you're hoping to get your hands on it, too bad. It's already sold out. It only took 24 hours. Great. I would applaud. Great for the publishers, especially for the game designer. You're gonna get your money. It seems like really people want it. I also was one of those people that wanted it because the Wingspan Asia box is actually really, really bigger and kind of hard to organize, especially with your own Wingspan pack. So I was like really gonna get it. But you can sign up for an email address if they're going to accept pre-orders again. So, yay! So, my news is it launched, it then closed because it's too popular.
That is heartbreaking to because when I hopped on the call, you did the same thing to me because I was like, oh, there's the bird box, the big old bird box that's going to be cool, and then you're like, it is cool, it's gone entirely, and you're not going to get it.
There's only one constant in board gaming, and it's that we love to organize our board games. We love accessories. We love anything we can add on to our games. That's why we keep on buying expansions, and we never ask them to stop doing it.
The painful truth.
Of course, a big box to hold everything. That's literally the ultimate
with organizers. With organizers and dividers, it was like that. I mean, Javion, you've seen. I have my Terraforming Mars big box that I'm very jealous. I know. I show it off. It's got the 3D printed stuff.
I love you nerds. You all are a bunch of wonderful nerds, and
organization. That's what you have to. If you're like, hey,
that.
We organize. You've got an organized book or organized box. You can just keep everything in, and it's nice. It's pristine.
All your
That's how you sell it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was browsing Etsy before to see if someone custom made some cool thing so I can put all of my like villainous games or all of my other weird games that I have in. So I'm not making fun of you. I respect this. I respect this with my heart.
They should make an organizer, but for all board games. Something that you could put every board game you own into. What would they call something like that? Like a bookshelf or something?
I don't know, but you know what kind of thought that is? That's a naughty thought, dog. Tell me what's the next headline.
I'm sorry. It's a board game. Of course. It's always a board game. It's from the makers of the Dark Castle and Naughty Dog. It's The Last of Us board game. It's the second adaptation of a video game into a board game that I talked about today because I cannot believe we're in this era, this period where we're accepting this. We're just allowing people to make our video games board games now. I love it. So, Escape the Dark Castle and Escape the Dark Sector are 2 dice games. They are cooperative, they're gothic horror, and they're made by Themeborn, and they are games that I absolutely love. They're award-winning from their Kickstarters that were so successful that I have backed each and every single last one of. And of course, there's another one for The Last of Us, Escape the Dark. So you should already know that there is The Last of Us, a board game that is already a great adaptation of the video. However, if you're a big fan of that dark, gritty black and white style of sort of like gothic horror, like I said, and if you've ever played any of Themeborn's games before, definitely take a look at the Kickstarter that's coming on November 8th. It's coming very soon, and you'll be able to start backing it as soon as it's released. We've got some preview pictures from this Polygon article that we're using, and the basic idea is that you're still playing The Last of Us, right? You still got that feel of crafting items and fighting mutants that have weird fungus coming out of their faces. You're still playing as Joel and Ellie, and you've got different items that you're going with, but you've also got some new features to look forward to, such as the custom dice that we have already seen in Escape the Dark games. It's got a simplicity to it that feels not minimalist, but rather streamlined. It all fits in a very cohesive way to a cooperative board game experience that won't drive everyone out the door when you tell them about it. You've also got some hangups, which are a new trait that every character gets to add a little bit of flavor to your game. You have to complete these things or overcome these things as you're playing. And it all plays in about 45 minutes. So you've got some role-playing game elements. You still got that fun dice rolling action with cards and items that help you craft better things along the way. It's going to be a very brutal, intense battle against the elements and the monsters that you're facing. And it also is going to be a solo experience as well as a cooperative one. So you can still have that solo video game feel. I'm a huge fan of Escape the Dark Castle. And to show you, I would just love for Marcus, could you please put up the picture that I sent you on screen? Yes, you're seeing this correctly.
Oh
I'm going to be in a board game. I'm going to be in a board game for the very first time. I had to spend a ton of money to do it, but unfortunately, it's a custom card that only I'm going to get. Sorry, you won't be able to play me.
Would you try to pose like the card for me real quick, Javion?
Is that right? Or is it this way?
You were right the first time.
Let's do it right there.
There we go. We're going to cut back and forth.
There you go.
It.
That's
Looks
so good.
Perfect. Javion, that is awesome. That is really cool that you're in that.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to that when it arrives because Kickstarters take forever. But if you jump on this one, it's going, like I said, it's starting on November 8th. You'll be able to get The Last of Us, the Escape the Dark version of it. And like all Themeborn's Kickstarters, you will be able to grab things that you may not have gotten with your Escape the Dark games before. So a base copy of all the games, expansion stuff, and a big box to hold it all because Bonsai, what did we say? We love organizing.
Organizers! Give us organizers.
Give us big boxes.
Also sealed in character sheets and play mats that we could write over again and just use dry eraser.
Yes. Unfortunately, my playmat did not get included in the Kickstarter. They emailed me and they told me that it got lost along the way. Unfortunately, pandemic has been hard on everyone, especially me for some reason, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm still getting stuff. It's great.
Well, that is exciting. I'm a big fan of the Last of Us games. I'm a fan of Naughty Dog. And after what you've told me about the Dark Sector and the Dark Castle games, I want to play those. So this looks like it's going to be right up my alley. Javion, thank you so much. I apologize that you did not get your mat, but you got a really cool card out of that. A card that you could probably work towards building decks with. Deck building, that's got me thinking, Peter. Is there anything you know about deck building? Anything new?
I think he might be muted.
You might be muted. There you go.
He switched speakers. I think there might be some technical difficulties.
I'll move my mouth like Peter. There we go. Way better. I can't make up for that voice. There we go.
There we go. Well, what I know about deck building games comes from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, where the Rebel Alliance fights valiantly against the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. Each new victory brings the rebels hope, and each heroic sacrifice strengthens their resolve. Still, the Empire's resources are vast, and the firepower of its Empire Navy unmatched. With neither side willing to accept defeat, their war rages across the galaxy. Yes, Fantasy Flight Games is proud to announce Star Wars, the deck building game. This new head-to-head game for 2 players brings the galaxy-spanning war between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Lines to your tabletop. In this easy-to-learn game, you and your opponent each choose a side, playing as either the Empire or the Rebels. And as the game progresses, you will both strengthen the power of your starting decks and work to destroy each other's bases. The first player to destroy 3 of their opponent's bases wins the game. And the Cosmos, I guess. Yeah. At the beginning of the game, both players start with a 10-card starter deck themed after their faction, Empire or Rebels. These starter decks don't have a lot of firepower, with 7 of the 10 cards being unable to do anything but generate resources. But with those resources, in the center of the table are the Galaxy deck and the Galaxy row. The Galaxy deck is made up of Empire cards, Rebel cards, and neutral cards. And there are always 6 cards laid out. During your turn, you can use the resources you generate to purchase cards belonging to your faction or the neutral cards. And you can use your cards to attack your opponent's base, which you will need to do to win. But you can also use them to attack cards of your opponent's faction in the Galaxy row. This is called either bounty hunting or sabotage, depending on your faction. I think that's my favorite part.
I like that too.
The article goes on to give a pretty thorough review of the game. I have to admit, it looks really pretty fun. So click on the link in chat if you'd like to read the rest.
Awesome. Thank you so much for covering that, Peter.
Yeah.
This looks a lot like Star Realms. Like I'm getting a lot of like similarities from
Star Realms.
Star Realms, yeah, because the Star Realms has a very similar idea where you start with 10 cards, you're deck building, and you're trying to battle. But I think what makes this one unique is you're battling against these bases, right, Peter? Like you're attacking.
Yeah,
targets.
And you'll have Darth Vader, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Let's be real.
I mean, if you're gonna attack a base and you have Darth Vader at your disposal and you don't use him, are you really attacking a base?
Yeah,
If you
that's true.
come out of orbit too far away, that's going to be bad. Vader's not like that.
It always works out when you just send stormtroopers to do Darth Vader's job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Stormtroopers are awesome.
I also love the the abundance for like, and this is not, I'm not insulting it. The abundance of Star Wars games on the market. There's going to be something out there for you if you like Star Wars. Every type of genre, every type of game. That IP is latched on. It is like Venom.
Yeah.
It's just like Venom.
Milking it for all they can.
And if I could have that money, I would too. Speaking of things that you could have, I think it's time for the bundle boss. What do you all think? Is it bundle boss time?
Yeah,
Yes, it is bundled.
box.
I think you should boss it. Marcus got to go in and boss it. Bundle boss it in the cup.
Thank
There you
you
go.
so much, Bonsai, for that lovely song. Hello, my name is Marcus, and I am your bundle boss today. I want to talk a little bit about a game called Cthulhu Confidential. It is one of our bundles for the day. Investigator, once again, you fight alone against monstrous adversaries in this revived April 2020 Cthulhu Confidential bundle featuring Gumshoe 121 tabletop role-playing game from Pelgrane Press. This game is guided by a moderator and a sole protagonist. So it is a game manager and a player. You go through and try to within the realm of noir, Cthulhu mythos kind of. It's a really awesome game. I was lucky enough to play this with Trooper SJP and a few people. It is just a fantastic. It got me into the Cthulhu universe. There's several campaigns written by Robin D. Laws and Chris Spivey and I think Ruth Tillman. Really, really fantastic. And you could get this all, the Cthulhu Confidential, Howling Fog, House in the Hills, and One for Money, the 3 campaigns with it, for the starter collection of $12.95. You can also, if you pay the maximum threshold price, $25.30, you'll get the bonus collection, which includes Night, Black Agent, Solo Ops, NBA, The Best Intentions, High Voltage Kill, and Ex Astoria, as well as Shadow over Washington, a really fun adventure on there. All the 10% of the payment after the gateway fees for Cthulhu Confidential Revival will be donated to charity designated by Pelgrane Press, which will be the Cochrane maintains the COVID-19 resource policy page. Which is, I just read that. That was not what it was, but they do multiple clinics for best practices in multiple languages for the COVID response, which is exciting and awesome. So I love, if you want to support a bundle, if you want to get some really cool Cthulhu business up in there, this is what you want. This is a really fun, like I actually highly recommend this. I played it. I love it. Next up, we have, this is, if you ever wanted to be a part of the bundle boss, if you wanted to be in a bundle, this is your opportunity, because this is not what we've normally done before. This is actually a submission for a bundle. This is the TTRPG for trans rights in Florida. They're accepting a game jam where games are being bundled together to be sold as a part of a bundle to fund, to help fund the trans rights in Florida. So one of the things you could do if you have a game new, existing, or work in progress, it could be paid, it could be free. If you want to submit it, they're gathering games from the community to add to the bundle to help raise the funds. The submissions will be open from now until 12 a.m. November 12th. So make sure if you want to be a part of this, hop in there. This is a great use to get your game out there and to help people in need. So please, if you're interested, click on that link, check out the rules, and please support it. And those are our bundles for the day. That was a wild ride. I've never been a bundle boss in my entire time at TableTakes. That was
You're
terrifying.
natural.
That was terrifying. But speaking of terrifying, Judge, I think it's time.
Oh my God!
All right. The crowdfunding court with Judge Peter is now in session, open to hear new cases. Javion, what do you have for the court?
All right, how much time do I have, Peter? I need as much time as you could possibly spare me.
That's a
to
Marcus
tell you.
question.
Marcus?
Bailiff?
You got 2
Bailiff?
minutes.
Oh, no. Okay, fine. All right, I got 2 minutes to tell you about 2 of my new favorite Kickstarters of all time. First up, we got Tesseract, a cooperative dice manipulation game. You heard it right. It's a dice manipulation game. You're trying to save the world from the mysterious alien device hovering over the planet. What is that? We're going to need a big giant cube to stop it. You get a big cube of dice. You set it up on a swivel that, like a turnstile that you could turn around, and everybody gets to pick dice off of it. And then you place it on your board. And you try to get 3 of a kind or 3 different colors, and then you can place one of them in the quarantine zone. Why do you want to place it in the quarantine zone? You got 5 rows and 6 different sides of each dice, 5 colors, and you're trying to get the entire thing filled out to deactivate the Tesseract or whatever that thing is up there before everybody dies. I love dice. I love custom dice. And I backed this thing because they told me I would get metal custom dice. Have you ever played with metal custom dice before? Let me tell you something. It's better than breathing. I spent $130 to get the game with these extra metal dice that were not supposed to be in the game, but the creator himself said, I just did this because I thought it'd be easier to show it off, and everybody was demanding I put it as an option. So now here you go. You demanded it, and you're gonna get your metal dice.
Wow.
There's a lot of really cool components. It's very sci-fi themed, and there's only 7 days left to go. It's fully funded, $56,000 so far. But it's plenty of time to jump on if you wanted to. Now, if that wasn't enough, if you think that I'm just going to sit here and tell you about one Kickstarter with one game, you're dead wrong. Because this week, the bundles have been bonkers. And what a bonkers Kickstarter I have for you. It's called the Fun Brick Games series. It's a new game series from Japan. Each slim box from the series has a different, unique, and highly replayable game with very simple rules. Okay, I think I'm over 2 minutes. I'm gonna keep going as quickly as I can.
You may continue.
We got the Viking Seesaw, which is a game all about a teeter-totter seesaw Viking ship. You place your items down. Hopefully nothing falls off. If it does, you add it to your tableau. No worries. You keep on adding things, hoping nothing falls down until the game's over and you got rid of all your stuff. Simple, right? Fits in your pocket. We also got Ninja Master. Roll your dice, try to grab the items that show up before everybody else does. Excuse me, I almost knocked over my microphone. I'm too excited. 3-second try is a trivia game where you're trying to bet on who can name the most things or do the most things within 3 seconds. And it has a cool little metal ball track. And the metal ball rolls down for 3 seconds until it stops on a little metal magnet that holds it in place. You know exactly it's been 3 seconds. And then, of course, we got 2 more. We got Stick Collection, which is a game about betting on whether or not you can find a stick that is very closely related to the other sizes of sticks. You ever played that game where you're drawing straws and they're different sizes? It's like that, but you're betting. And also, finally, we've got Judge Domino, probably my favorite game of the whole 5-game series. It's a game where you're setting up dominoes of different sizes and you're guessing on whether or not you think the whole thing is going to collapse. How clever is that? I wish I'd come up with this game. It has the word
judge in it. I mean,
it's got the word judge in it.
Yeah.
Peter, what do you think? Do you think these Kickstarters are anywhere near acceptable? I mean, you still got 19 days if you still want to jump on.
It would be difficult to pick just one. That's for certain.
Well, you can get all 5 of them. That's what I did because I can't help myself. I've got a problem. Did I say 70 Kickstarters? I think I did.
All right. Bailiff, have him removed from the room.
Too much excitement.
We got one more Kickstarter we got to cover while we're waiting for our last interviewee here. Okay, so Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the renovations expansion. This is on Kickstarter. They have raised $140,000 from over 3,000 backers, and they still have 25 days to go. This crowdfunding program is exciting news here in Gen Con TV headquarters, as this is one of my wife Dee's favorite games. So you can bet that we'll be ordering this. So before talking about the expansion, let's review the basic game. In this is a tile laying game where players are tasked with building an amazing, extravagant castle for Mad King Ludwig II of Bavaria, one room at a time. Okay, so you see the king loves castles, but he keeps changing his mind what sort of rooms he wants. I mean, this is the same king that built Neuschwanstein and others. And he has commissioned you to build the biggest, best castle ever, subject, of course, to his ever-changing whims. Each player acts as a building contractor who is adding rooms to the castle that they are building, while also selling their services to other players. The tiles are rooms, and you bid on them as they come up. And you must place the tile immediately when you buy it, but this can get tricky because the rooms are different shapes of tiles. Yeah. And you get points depending on how well the location makes sense. For example, you don't want to put a noisy dining room right next to the nursery. So renovations, which is the new expansion for Castles of Mad King Ludwig, enhances existing rooms with dual room type renovations for every size room, except for the towers. You get double the completion rewards and fulfill favors twice as fast. Renovations is completely compatible with all editions of Mad King Ludwig. If you haven't, by the way, bought the second edition of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you're obligated to say the entire title every time. Rest assured that you can get the second edition of Castles of Mad King Ludwig as part of this Kickstarter. All right, good. Well,
you have to decide now. You have to choose who lives and who dies.
Are you going to decapitate your own head?
Especially with that
not
new,
a chance.
You can't do it with that
I'm
new
not
wig.
going to suicide judge. It's Peter the judge, not suicide judge. So I think Javion, I think your life is well lived, and we appreciate your pro bono work in terms of like the amount of your money that you put into researching, showing your commitment to the Kickstarters. That's excellent work.
I have a quick question. We're like contractually obligated to back the Kickstarters that we talked about, right? So that's what I've been doing. No?
Oh.
Wait, hold on. This whole time? Wait.
Oh no, Javion.
Oops. Oh no, I've got cool Kickstarters.
That's a great excuse though if you need to like ever really make that happen.
Just write on your taxes, be like, I needed this for work.
Yeah, this is a work write-off. Yeah, they really I think the IRS loves when you write off tabletop and board games.
Yeah. It is actually a hobby, technically.
Yeah.
So I could put it as a hobby that I could talk.
I want to take a quick moment to shout out the crowdfunder court judge Peter and that wig. That prop-based comedy that we didn't see coming in a million years. That was
no
incredible.
wonder you wanted to do it so bad.
That was incredible.
Even tell us.
Like, oh, he's the boss. He gets it.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, we have that wig, so this is Peter. You might be our judge. Get that.
You're the
We'll
judge now
get that
for
gavel
rest
sound
of
effect
the
running again.
TableTakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it. Yeah, sure.
So as we are currently waiting for our interviewees, let's talk a little bit about them. They're going to be. Go ahead, Peter.
I mean, we have one of them. Should we start with the one, or does that screw up the overlays?
That would make the overlays a little bit difficult to do.
Okay, yeah. All
So
right.
I was going to talk about some stuff for a little bit.
What stuff? Is it exciting?
What we talk
Ooh.
about. This is a thing that we in the business like to refer to as vamping. So let's vamp, shall we?
It's a vampire Kickstarter, isn't it?
I have an idea. We could talk about the Monty Python Cocurricular Medieval Reenactment program, which is a Kickstarter for Monty Python.
That would be kind of awesome, especially as a leader.
This would be a nice setup for our guests.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll need to adopt a British accent for this. Pardon me.
God, do we have to? My accents
Good
are
one.
terrible. I cannot.
So this Kickstarter has raised $1.5 million, has 13 days to go, providing you don't get locked in the argument room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Monty Python reference there. I'm
I,
looking for the argument room. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am.
oh, the abuse,
This
because there was
isn't an
the
argument.
abuse room.
Yes.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
I forgot
Sorry.
about. No,
It's
we're
my
just gonna do.
favorite skit
We're just
of
gonna
all
do
time.
Monty Python bits until we start the interview. I
I was
actually.
I
afraid
have to
this would
return this
happen.
parrot. It's dead. It's not dead. It's sleeping. No, it's most definitely dead.
I'm gonna cut to Javion real quick so everyone can see
No.
Javion's face here. We, as to be fair, we all are really excited for this interview. But one thing, while we do have a few minutes, I would love to, Javion, ask you a question.
Oh no.
Out of all these
Yes.
games that you covered today, especially the video, let's play the Spire
okay.
and Naughty Dog and,
Mhm.
and the Last of Us. Of those two games, which ones are you probably the most excited for? If you
Probably
had to-
Last of Us.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I love Slay the Spire. You know me. I love me a good video game with card game elements, and I love the randomness, the combos. All of that's really cool. But I mean, I literally own everything I can possibly own when it comes to Escape the Dark Castle and Escape the Dark Sector. Anything theme born, I own it, except for a playmat, apparently. But I also love Last of Us, and I could not believe when I saw this article that they were combining these two together. I thought The Last of Us had its board game adaptation. That's all we're going to get from it. And it's even better that it's on Kickstarter because I mean, I want to add to my huge list of
Yes,
Kickstarter.
your
But I want-
growing list of Kickstarters.
I want to be able to put really good things on it. So I feel really proud that that I get to back this Kickstarter when it comes out on Tuesday.
I have this problem where when when I first started working here and we started doing TableTakes and doing the Kickstarters, where I was just getting anything that looked good, and now I'm at the point where everything's going to start coming in slowly, so I just accept all of my Kickstarters. But at that point, am I supposed to play them before I just go get more? You all are the experts on this. Should I keep buying them or should I actually take the time and sit and play them with people?
I like getting, it's like a magical Christmas surprise you weren't
Yeah.
remembering, because there's been like, I'm like, oh yeah, the Kickstarters I just got, I was like, oh yeah, I kickstarted this expansion pack for this, I totally forgot, and then
2
I
years
just
ago.
put it- yeah,
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
little.
I like that, like a
It
little
is
treat.
like setting yourself up to get
Yeah.
gifts, like because you totally forget like what you backed, right?
And the
Yeah.
Kickstarter website is really good at giving you a way to keep track of it and keep updated on which ones you've gotten, which ones you haven't, and if they're still in development, have they updated in a month or two? Are people upset? Are they rioting? Is there lots of nasty comments that I should be following so I know that all my money is just wasted? Or can I also jump in on the conversation, jump on their Discord and start badgering them about my Kickstarter when it's going to show up?
Mhm. But yeah, no, it's but yes, you should. I have so many games that I probably should open. Like even Javion came over to my house. He's like, I
Oh, yeah.
noticed some of these games are not open. I'm like, I know. Okay, I know. I have a finite amount of time, and then we also get into our favorite games, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we should learn the expansions, and then like, it's just a lot.
So
I know an easy solution to that, Bonsai. You just invite me over.
Yeah, invite
there
you
you
over.
go. There you go, and be quicker with your boxes so you can organize them. So we currently do have Brian Saliba from Crowbar Creative here with us right now. I'm
Yay!
going to we're going to cut over to them shortly. So let us go to the TableTakes display window with all of the cool Monty Python stuff there, and they can still hear us. It'll take me a second to adjust the cameras.
Adjusting the cameras here on Gen Con TV. We're adjusting the cameras. Don't
Make
pay
sure to say hi to the
attention,
new
this
guests
is-
too, so they don't come in
La,
and just
la, la,
singing.
la, la, la.
Hi, new
Bring
guest.
out your
Oh, wait, hi,
dead.
guest.
Bring out your dead.
Hi, picture of new guest.
Hello.
It's Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to Gen Con TV. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, congratulations. $1.5 million.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It is crazy.
That's crazy. And you're gonna get you're gonna get another million in the last 3 days, probably, right?
Who knows? I mean, it's already kind of surpassed what we thought it might do.
Right.
There were some indications. I mean, all the analytics and all of the everything that you try to measure to predict things beforehand. It's just there's always such a wide range of, on the low end it could be this, on the high end it could be this, and you never really know where you're going to fall. But it's been really humbling to see those numbers climb, and the number I think about more is the 12,000. That's how many people have backed it.
Wow.
That's 12,000 people that we want to try and make happy. That's a lot of people.
And just to cover the basics here, now this is Monty Python's co-curricular Mediaeval Reenactment program. It is on Kickstarter. It's got 13 days to go, and you're accepting pledges of money and fealty. Is that correct?
Right. We'll take either.
Yeah. Well,
You were right. There's a lot of backers for this Kickstarter. Have you had a lot of interaction with the fans? I mean, in my experience, those are the best part of Monty Python, is just getting to laugh about the different bits and stuff with people who share that with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's approaching 900 comments on it, and I would say probably 75% of those are just people doing Python shtick.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
I know it's not a role-playing game, but can you describe it?
Yeah, it is. It's distinctly not a role-playing game. It's a co-curricular reenactment program, which is, I'm sure you know, is an entirely different category of activity. It is a
not at
role-playing
all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But it's a role-playing game that attempts to bring all of Python's work into play. And it's set in medieval England. So its kind of baseline is Holy Grail, sort of, but there are all sorts of, so you're creating characters like knights and monarchs and monks and nuns and hermits and whatever, and traipsing around medieval England on quests. But there are all sorts of other things that can happen that bring in anachronistic elements and elements from outside of the Holy Grail realm. Life of Brian is something that happened in the past. So Brianism is a religion that survived and exists in the game.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so fun.
That,
Nice.
of course, is splintered off into the sect of the shoe and the sandal and the gourd and the juniper bushes and all of that. So, and there are characters throughout that come from all over Python's body of work. I mean, we're fortunate in that our licensor, Monty Python, they own all their stuff, so we're able to draw from everything. I think for us, it was never really that interesting to try and create a Holy Grail role-playing game. That felt like kind of easy. It would be fun. It would be a blast, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But the challenge we thought was trying to incorporate as much of Python stuff as possible, and that required us to create some weird fourth wall breaking stuff, like the dungeon master is referred to as the head of light entertainment, and that person, actually, you're not a disinterested party. You're not a sort of unbiased person in the game. You take on one of 18 personae that are from Python's universe. You might be one of the upper class twits, and that's who you are as the head of light entertainment. Might be Lord Kinwoody. The dog gets it. I think my dog heard that, actually. So you take on you take on one of these different personae as the head of light entertainment, but you can be sacked and then have to take on a different one.
Nice.
That's funny.
So there are a lot of ways to kind of bring in different kind of fourth wall breaking and self-referential stuff, which are, as you guys know, is kind of a hallmark of Python's humor.
I understand it comes with spam.
Yeah. Well, spamming is a thing that happens. So anytime that you roll a natural one, you've spammed the test, and there are a number of things that happen as a result. You take a demerit from your head of light entertainment, and you have to move your die down on the dice continuum for that particular trait. And anyway, mechanics. But spam is also a currency in the game, and So we've tried to incorporate that. Spam, actually, if you eat it, it can turn you into a Viking, as it happens.
That's true. They
I'm
love
really-
spam.
I'm really curious about this mini game that I saw. What can you tell me more about it? It looks like there's a catapult.
Yeah, there's a couple of catapults. It's called Fetch a Lavash, and essentially narratively, it's a kind of gladiatorial contest that invading French knights subject their captive English prisoners to. They force them to go and play Fetch a Lavash in a field, and the goal is to two teams compete to rush to the far end of the field and capture a cow and take it to the other end of the field without dying. But mechanically, the way it works is it's kind of backgammon based. So the board itself is like a backgammon board. It actually is it's a functioning backgammon board. And your characters, the meeples that come with the set, are your characters running around on the backgammon field. And the French, meanwhile, are lobbing insults at you and launching farm animals using the die catapults at you. And that's how you determine your movement and all of that.
I just want to be clear. Did I hear the word die catapults?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
like
I thought I couldn't love this game anymore. Oh my gosh.
Like this little guy.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is incredible.
Oh, very nice.
And you have like a way of keeping it from like catapulting off the table too, right? Like there's like a cage to it or something, a box.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You just stand.
Oh, good.
You just stand. You put the person
Chaos.
you like in your party the least in front of it, and then just
Yeah.
Right.
Right. There are consequences for if you miss the board or bounce it off the board, but generally speaking, it's where the die lands on the board. If it hits your meeple, that means you've been hit by that particular farm animal, and there's stuff that happens as a result. But it's a fun little mini game. Hopefully, I mean, it's certainly been fun in playtesting. But then there's actually a second game too. You can flip it over, and on the outside of the board, there's a second game we added through stretch goals called Squash à l'Anglaise. And you are kind of laying siege to a French castle with your catapults, and it's also a backgammon board that comes with all the backgammon stuff, so you can just play backgammon on it if you want.
No,
Oh, wow.
that's awesome.
That is.
I
incredible.
have
Go ahead, Bonza.
I have a hard-hitting question for you. Since you did say that the head of Light Entertainment is multiple personalities that you can be, do you actually have a favorite of the 18 you said personalities that you could be?
Probably Dino Vercati, who is the kind of gangster character from Flying Circus that Terry Jones portrayed. He and his brother Michael Palin, Luigi and Dino Vercati, are these two kind of smarmy East End Sicilian gangsters that come in and say, "Oh, it's a nice tank you have. I hate to have something happen to it." So that is one of the heads of Light Entertainment. But each of the heads of Light Entertainment has their own sensibilities. So things that you do that will earn you merits, and things that offend them that will earn you demerits. And each of them has their own dire consequences table. So if any one character earns a requisite number of demerits, then they have to immediately roll in a dire consequences table. And that's where things can happen, like in Dino Vercati's case, like a pizza is suddenly delivered to the middle of the scene and somebody has to pay for it. It's all very embarrassing. Or suddenly the whole thing cuts to a call-in show about Cosa Nostra, and everybody has to kind of participate in this call-in show before it cuts back to this scene in the chapel that you were having in the reliquary or something. So that's how I think the experience of the game is a lot like kind of being in a Flying Circus episode, because it's just cuts and weird non sequiturs here and there, but it always comes back to where you were in medieval England. It just suddenly may transport you somewhere else, or some historian might wander on the screen and start giving a lecture about something, and you have to deal with him.
Well, I think that's what I've actually in this conversation, and since like looking over the Kickstarter, that's one of the things I was the most excited about, because my mom grew up with Monty Python. She showed me everything. I've been watching Monty Python for years, so it's like I was thinking this. Oh, it's pretty easy to do if you were just to do, as you were saying, like a Holy Grail RPG. Like it's but this contains all of the flavors of the magnitudes of the various medias and stuff. There's bits, there's references, there's all the non sequiturs that you love. I appreciate the surreal commitment to the bit that is still in the books for like just reading through it. Who did the art for this? It's fantastic.
Well, we've got a few different artists that are contributing to it. Elliot Lang is one. He did the art for the Fetch Lavage board, and he's doing so. The book itself is going to have several different styles. It's going to be kind of eclectic. Every chapter will look different from the next one, and that's in keeping a lot with their books, the books that Python has published. You never know what you're going to get from one page to the next. So the introduction and background section is going to look like an illuminated manuscript from the Middle Ages. The heads of light entertainment and player creation or participant character creation sections are going to look like an old British textbook that's sort of been vandalized by students. And the bestiary and dramatis personae, bestiary is going to look like a field guide for naturalists, and the dramatis personae is going to be more like a playbill. And so we have different artists for each of those, and in some cases different layout people too, so that they have very different looks and feels.
I mean, that's a big, just in the appearance of the game, the bonus of it. It has that it obviously has the feel of Monty Python, but there is just so much detail, and this is gorgeous. I am going to love poring over this and looking through all of the vandalism in the books. That is what I really want to see now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun to do that, to come up with those bits that that add some flavor to it. I mean, the conceit of the game is that it's not a game. It's a curriculum. It's pedagogy. It's a piece of educational material that is meant for students of English history, and the person who's taking on the role of head of light entertainment is their teacher in some stuffy British boarding school. And that's kind of who it's meant to be for. Of course, that's not really the case, but that a lot of the flavor in the book takes on that those sensibilities. That this is about teaching you English history.
I honestly can't wait to learn.
I have another question. You talked about the 18 personalities of the GM type character. What are the type of characters that players play?
So there are 10 different character classes, but they're called situations. And let me see if I can do all 10 off the top of my head. So it's Monarch, Knight, Monk/Nun, Hermit, Troubadour, Noble, Ne'er-do-well, Cleric. I think I'm missing 2.
Peasant,
thank you, is one. And there's one more out there that I'm missing.
Monarch. Do we get
Monarch?
Monarch?
Not a merchant. I think I got Monarch.
Enchanter?
Yeah, Monarch.
Enchanter. Thank you.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those are the different classes or situations you can be in. The way character creation works is every situation has 5 traits, slots for traits, and each situation you have to have a certain 1 or 2 for each one, and then you can choose for the rest from a list of, I think there's 20 traits in total, and or you can choose to replace one of your traits with a retinue member, so like a squire or a manservant or an acolyte to follow you around, or fill one of the slots with a conveyance if you want a cart or or God forbid a horse or a chariot or something like that. And each of those things that you choose comes with some bonus or allows you to carry more equipment or the like. And also in the case of a retinue member, there's someone that you can throw in the way if you're about to die and they get killed instead. So,
That's always nice to have a good meat shield.
Thank you so much for coming on. We have enjoyed talking to you about this so much. We want everybody to know that you can still go onto the Kickstarter right now. Just follow the link that's in chat right there. Thank you so much. We have really enjoyed this so much. There's so many different Kickstarter pledge levels for you guys to check out. Definitely take a look before the Kickstarter ends.
Yep, and unfortunately, that is it for Table Takes today. Brian, stick around with us just for a few minutes as we wrap up. Thank you so much. As Javion said, please check out this Kickstarter from Crowbar Creative and Exalted Funeral as the publishers.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on TableTakes. Stay tuned, because right after this, we're having a squirrel post-apocalyptic adventure in No Nut November on TableTakes Game Night, followed by the final round of the Crowned TTRPG on Sarah's table. But if you're wondering what's to come this weekend, well, don't forget, we got Dress for Quest for you, Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Then the rest of the week, we have Mondays, Board Games with the Brothers Murph. Tuesdays, Out of Character with Mark Tassin. Wednesdays, Actoroki.
Woohoo!
Thursdays, Blood on the Clock Tower and Roll with Rem Alternus, and then we're right back Friday with our fun, fabulous Friday lineup. Join us here, join us there, join us everywhere for the best 4 days of gaming all year round. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, hosts. We'll be right back with Game Night. Thank you, Brian, and let's have a great show.